So one of the things that obviously you need to do when you have a drone is to practice. So this afternoon, it's a beautiful hot sunny day here. I'm in a place called the Manor Valley, just beyond Peebles a little bit, really quiet, utterly beautiful. So I've got an Avata 2. Now, I've not really used it in anger. I used it on a job a couple of weeks ago. I thought to myself, I need a bit more practice. To be honest, I find it a little bit on the scary side because it is completely immersive. So obviously it's got these goggles that you put on and everything around you is, what you see. I'm used to the Mavic. I've used to have a Phantom. I used to have an Inspire. So everything's always been on a screen. So my thinking has always been very, I can see it on the screen. It's all okay. The fully immersive thing scares me a little bit. And also, the Avata 2, it's a completely different piece of kit. It's really fast. It can hug the ground. It can all do this kind of thing. And do some fancy maneuvers. So I decided to try and get a bit more confident with it after last week's shoot in Edinburgh. So here I am. I'm going to show you where I am. So this hill behind me, this here behind me has got a beautiful long ridge along that way. So I'm going to head on up just this little hill just here next to the trees that you'll see, and then see if I can do some flying down along this ridge and then down across the side of the hill. So I found myself a lovely little spot here. There's a little flat area so I can take the drone off the side of the hill. It's really nice, beautiful, stunning views around here. I remember I took a time lapse of the hill. I know you can't see it, but it's over in that direction. I might just put it up so you can see it. But I digress. So I'm going to get the Avata ready. So one of my observations in my use of this drone so far is it's very lightweight. It's one of the lightest drones I've ever flown. The Mavic feels quite heavy compared to this, and I think one of the disadvantages in that respect is that if it's a bit windy, it can be a bit hard to maneuver. So, but that is where practice comes in, because obviously the more you do something, the easier it's going to be. So, fingers crossed, the breeze isn't too bad. I can sense, obviously when we're down below there was no breeze at all, but obviously the higher up you get, especially if you're going to do this kind of thing up in hills and mountains, is obviously you will need to be careful about your weather forecast, because you can make all that effort to go up a hill and then suddenly discover when you get to the top that the wind gusts just going to make it absolutely impossible for you to fly your drone. So wish me luck on this one. Looking forward to this because there's a nice slope all the way down here. So I'm about halfway. So I thought, well, it's a good spot. There's a nice field over there. There's a place called Cadmere Plantation over there. And there's some nice heather starting to come out. It's August time now, so the colours do tend to come out. So let's give it a crack. So the wind speed gusts are about 20 miles an hour at the moment. Average is supposed to be around about 8 miles an hour. So I think this might be a bit more challenging than I expected. Also, I think given that it's 28 degrees today in the borders, really hot, incredibly so, it will mean that I think thermals will also be playing a part in all of this. So let's fire her up and see how we do. Okay, I'm just going to get a bit of altitude. Now let's move her around. I'm going to put her in sport mode. Gives me a bit of extra leeway because of the wind gusts. Give me an extra bit of power. Now, isn't that a beautiful wall? Let's give it a crack. High wind velocity. So it's interesting. I'm in sport mode. It's fighting me a little bit. If you see that jutter. Let's get a little bit more altitude because the signal was a bit weak there. Oh wow, isn't this just lovely? Right, let's spin her around. So that's Cadmere Plantation that you'll see there. Okay, let's bring her back to me. Let's see how she does. Way, oh wow. Felt steady on my feet there. She's not going as quick as I would hope. Obviously, I think we're slightly going into the wind here. So I think as soon as I get over this ridge here, I fully expect that she's going to start to bank off to the left because the wind is coming up that valley. Let's see. I think she's coping quite well with that. That's cool. Right, let's bring her back and around. Right, let's get... Oh, this is going to be a hard one. Way! Right, always keep the crosshairs slightly above where you want to fly over. Okay, I know that's coming over the hill, so bring her down. Oh wow, yes, that was good. Let's go back down. High wind velocity. Yep, I know. I think she's coping really well, actually. Alright, let's bring her up. Make sure we get some altitude because the signal I'm just slightly out of range. Wow, isn't that pretty? Again, let's Cadmere. I think we should go over there. Let's go over these trees, see how we get on. Oh, again, bit of motion sickness there. Jeez, oh wow. That's the thing with this kind of fully immersive experience. It just can cause you a little bit of motion sickness, I think. But now, I think it is struggling because I think it should be going a lot quicker than this, but we are fighting against the wind. So let's bank her back round. Let's go up the hill. Let's see what she can do. Here we go. Let's see, I'm fighting against her. Yeah, the wind's coming down that valley. It's coming round, and the reason that's banking is because it's fighting against the wind off to my left. Gully. Oh wow. Oh gee. Oh wow, I'm just getting so much motion sickness. Oh fuck. Oh, oh wow. I'm gonna have to go down on my knees. Pardon my French. You see she's really struggling against the wind now. I'll bank her round and see what the issue is. So this valley here is where the wind is coming down. So obviously the wind is then buffeting up the side of this hillside. And I guarantee you when we turn around and I come back, it's going to zip along that ridge line back up to me quite quickly and easily. And you see, there you go. See, instantly it's just going quicker. Well, hey, that was quick. Let's put it around, get some altitude so we get the signal back again. Oh wow, that's really struggling. Bring it down. filtering going on there. That would be the wind coming over the brow of the hill. Now, as you can see, the drone's fighting me. It's trying to remain stable. Interestingly enough, I have actually had to sit down and do this now. See, there's some telegraph poles there, so let's avoid that. This is nice. Let's not scare the sheep. I think we'll go to this tree line just off to the right and turn her around. Now that's a really nice view. Keep it just above the horizon, the crosshairs. Wow. That was quite cool. Right, altitude. That's really nice. Let's see if we can get a link. Obviously at this point we are fighting the wind, so now you keep planking over this way. That's it, fighting against the wind coming up that valley. High wind, let's just see, there we go. Really strong here. Okay, let's get some altitude. I mean, I am, like, the trigger is on full and it just doesn't feel like it's going very quick at all. So I think in terms of wind gusts and wind, in terms of conditions to fly around, right, no, let's bring it back in. So in conclusion, my thoughts about wind speeds and manoeuvrability are kind of coming true. So for me, it's going to have to be quite calm conditions, wind speeds of under 20 miles an hour, because the drone, half the time you're fighting the drone against the wind, and it then doesn't really become fun. You can't do some of the funky maneuvers that you really want to try and learn. You know, half the time you're actually fighting against the wind because the wind was coming up that valley, you're coming around the ridge line, and then obviously the wind was starting to buffet and you could see the drone was banking over like that. So you're spending half the time trying to work out how you're going to fly it because you're fighting against the wind. But of course, being in Scotland, you know, we are quite a windy country. If you go up the hills, there's always going to be a little breeze of some description, but you're going to be slightly limited. But if you really want to fly your drone on the hills, use a Mavic 3, I would say, or Mavic 4, that's just come out, because they're heavier, more, and obviously they're not as manoeuvrable. You can't do the funky maneuvers with the Avata 2, but you'll still get some decent footage because the Mavic obviously is a lot heavier, it's more stable. Also, what I didn't expect, and it's the first time that's ever happened, is I got motion sickness. I was standing up. Now, you heard me swear, you heard me go ooh ah, and that's never happened to me before, and that was really unusual. So I was standing up, obviously with the joystick, and I was banking the drone around, and I just got motion sickness. I wouldn't say it was like I was fainting, but I've never experienced that before. Now, I don't suffer motion sickness. I've been on yachts and boats. I don't get travel sickness. I don't get sick on, or I don't get scared on planes or anything like that. But that was the first time I've ever experienced that. And I'm thinking, oh, wow. So I thought, 30 seconds later, it happened again. And I thought, holy moly. So, second conclusion, I'm going to fly my drone sitting down because I'm not going to get motion sickness. But I'm going to need to take that into consideration for future reference when I'm perhaps doing a commercial shoot, and depending on what kind of shoot that they want or what kind of scene that they want, I need to take the motion sickness angle into it a little bit as well. So say, for example, I'm chasing a car, I would be in the passenger seat and doing the FPV flying around the car. I suspect I might get a bit of motion sickness doing that, but you'll only find out when you do it. But anyway, I'm rambling. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again soon.